As we speak, President Trump flying home from his trip to France, downplaying his differences with President Macron there, praising the newly elected French leader and saying relations with America's oldest ally are as solid as the values we share.
Our occasional disagreements are nothing compared to the immortal bonds of culture, destiny, and liberty that unite us. As long as we have pride in who we are, where we've come from, how we got here, and what we've achieved as free and democratic nations, then there is nothing we cannot accomplish together.
Ben Haddad is a research fellow at the Hudson Institute and was an advisor to President Macron's campaign. Ben, good to see you. As always. You did get a sense that these two men felt like there was a lot they could agree on, even though they disagree on something like the Paris Climate Agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first, their personalities are actually quite similar. When you look at their political background, their life, these are both people who were elected as political outsiders. They never ran for office. They ran against the political establishments of their respective countries or against the failures of both establishment parties in their countries. They came with business experience and never ran for office. So I think, first, there's a lot in common in their personalities. And second, they do see themselves as pragmatists, as realists on foreign policy. You've mentioned it, they had disagreements on the climate, on the value of multilateral institutions, I think, in general, but they both said that their priority would be fighting terrorism. This is a double anniversary. This is the 100th anniversary of the American intervention in the First World War, and you've seen both presidents see American troops parade on the Champs-Élysées. I think it was a very important symbol for the cooperation between the two countries. But it's also the one-year anniversary of the Nice terror attack. A year ago, they killed 85 people, as you remember. So I think it's very important also to stress the strong relation and cooperation against terrorism that the two countries share in Africa, in the Sahel against Al-Qaeda, but also against ISIS in the Middle East.
We saw yesterday President Trump questioned by a French journalist about some of the things he has said about France and their views towards terrorism, and it was uncomfortable, for lack of a better term, to have those aired again. But the president said, I'm no longer worried about those things. I believe in President Macron. Has he, in his short time in office, made real changes to how France deals with terror and with extremism?
Well, I think in general, France has been a strong country in Europe and a leader in the fight against terrorism. The first trip that Mr. Macron undertook outside of the European continent was to Mali, where you have 3,000 French troops that are stationed there, supported logistically, supported with intelligence by the United States. And he has repeated that he wants to continue this fight.
This is interesting to hear. This is the President Trump answering and sort of challenging President Macron. Take a listen.
We have a feeling that you're going to have a very, very peaceful and beautiful Paris, and I'm coming back. You better do a good job, please. Otherwise, you're going to make me look very bad.
You listen to that soundbite and watch that body language. It is very different than when President Trump stands next to Angela Merkel, who was President Obama's sort of partner in Europe. Is this a pivot now all of a sudden?
It might very well be, I agree. I think France will make a much more natural partner for Trump's America than Germany. Macron ran on increasing France's defense spending to 2% of GDP. As we said, they want to work together in the Middle East and Africa to fight terrorism. I think their personalities fit well together. When you have a president that wants to support America first, that wants allies to be more self-reliant, more autonomous, I think in this respect, France, or Poland for that matter, that President Trump visited last week, make very natural partners.
Yeah, very, very different than what we see from President Obama, his body language, especially with Angela Merkel. Ben Haddad, appreciate your insights as always. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you very much.